NFC, and everybody they love Tampa Bay. Every single person and their mother. And when everybody heard Antonio Brown was going to Tampa, Super Bowl all the way. They're going everywhere. And they have not looked good the last couple of weeks. I don't care if they win or lose. They have not looked good. With all the talent on that team, Tom Brady, the greatest of all time that everybody says, which I do not believe is the greatest of all time. That's just my opinion. But with all the offense that they have and the defense, what they did early in the season, and really have fallen off in the second half of the season, do you think going into Week 16, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pretenders or contenders?
It's tricky to really evaluate them, but I'm going to still stick with contenders. What you need in the playoffs is a veteran quarterback. You need a guy that has been there before. This team has not reached that level of success yet. But as much as Tom Brady is 42 years old and not the same player he was before, this is still a pretty good defensive team. And on top of that, again, I think Tom Brady has what you need just to elevate the guys around you. They're probably not going to be an NFC championship team, but I think they'll still make the playoffs pretty easily. They're going to probably knock somebody off and surprise somebody in the first round. But beyond that, I don't see them making it much further.
All right, so before we let you go, Mr. DeLeone, I want to know your MVP this year, your rookie offensive player of the year, your rookie defensive player of the year, and your coach of the year.
First, MVP, and I know this is something that is not going to happen, but it has to be Derrick Henry. The man has been running over every single defense that he has faced against. There's, for some reason, a stigma against running backs when it comes to the MVP voting, but for him to have multiple 200-yard rushing games in one season is stupid in the current modern NFL, where running backs are continuously shuffled in and out of lineups by multiple teams. So I think Derrick Henry has proven to me that he is the best player on his team right now and the reason why the Titans have been successful. Offensive rookie of the year, I want to go with Justin Jefferson. He has been fantastic. He has played way outside expectation, and he is proving wrong all of the teams that chose to go with all these other guys. He has been a fantastic receiver. I think he reminds me a ton of in terms of outperforming expectations. He reminds me a lot of Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's going to be that type of a player. He has that similar demeanor and swagger to him, and he is a fantastic receiver, and he's hard to cover. Defensive, I'm really tied up right now between Patrick Queen and Chase Young, but the way that Washington is playing right now is because of that defensive line, and the defensive line has been elevated by Chase Young in the rotation. I know his stats aren't right up where you need it to be a de facto defensive rookie of the year, but they're triple teaming him right now. They're double teaming him. Teams are doing whatever they can to slow him down, and he is taking up so much attention from opposing offensive lines. As far as coach of the year, I'm going to keep this simple. This is a little bit biased. I think Joe Judge deserves to be the coach of the year right now. If it's not Joe Judge, I think additionally Ron Rivera, for all the adversity that he's dealt with in the Washington football team the whole offseason. He has just recovered from cancer. It makes a lot of sense for me if he ends up winning the division and going to the playoffs. If it ends up being the Giants, I have to stick with my guy, Joe Judge.
As you guys know, that is Joe DeLeone, podcaster, long snapper, great friend of the show, a fan of sports, and we are all a fan of sports. But as soon as you said Joe Judge, you saw Speedy's head just pop right up. Pop right up. This Giant fan. I listen, are you a Giant fan? Did you grow up a Giant fan?
Yes, I did. I am a Giants fan.
So there you go. You're two buddies, two peas in a pod. Follow each other on Twitter. I'm just kidding. But you want to know something? I have nothing against the Giants. I actually think Joe Judge has been sensational. I don't think he's the coach of the year. I would take Brian Flores. What he did with Miami this year has been sensational. I think he's been incredible. Ever since he's gone to that organization, he's changed everything. He really has changed everything. And Tua, everybody keeps talking about Tua. It's not Tua that's winning these games. It's their defense. Their defense is flawless. This defense is going to be scary. This team makes the playoffs, which they're more unlikely is going to make the playoffs. They are a scary, scary team in the AFC. I think they can surprise a lot of people. I wouldn't even be so surprised if they get out of the first round. So they've been sensational. As far as defensive player of the year, McQueen, I think McQueen has been the best defensive player as far as I'm concerned. Yes, you're right. Young has been sensational really in the second half of the season. They wouldn't be where they are today if it wasn't for Chase Young. He's been sensational. And offensive player of the year, rookie of the year, I would go with the same player that you went, and that's Justin Jefferson. He's been sensational, really unbelievable. But I also would go with Edwards from the Chiefs. He's been sensational too. He's been unbelievable as well offensively. So, and as far as MVP, well, I'm going to say it, and I'll say it over and over again. It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been sensational. He stayed healthy this year. I don't know how Green Bay is at they're the number one seed right now in the NFC. I have no idea, but it's all because of one player. That's Aaron Rodgers. I believe when you give somebody the MVP, he is the most valuable player to his team. And Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player to his team because you put any quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson on that team, they will fail. They will fail. That team stinks, okay? That team is not going anywhere in the playoffs. I'm telling you right now, there is no way in hell the Green Bay Packers are going to the Super Bowl this year because that team they have so many dimensions on their team that are so lack of, as far as their secondary. Everybody keeps talking about how great their secondary is. They have one good secondary player, and the rest of the secondary is And their defensive line, they never play well in the big game. They never play well in the big game. So I want to see the Green Bay Packers do it and have all three of them play well. The special teams, the defense, and the offense. When that happens, then we can talk about the Green Bay Packers. Joe, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
So, folks, you can follow me at Joe DeLeone, straight up. There's no numbers or anything on there. DeLeone. And also just make sure to check out Big Blue View. If you are a Giants fan, you can just go to bigblueview.com.
You know what? I'm not a Giant fan, but I'm going to watch you, man. You look like a good dude. You know what you're talking about. And I want you to come on again. I think you're great. I really do. And by the way, the clouds behind you, awesome, man. Professional. I said professional, but whatever. I will tell you this. I have not slept for 24 hours. It's crazy right now here in New York with Christmas right around the corner. I work at a hospital during the day. It's ridiculous, man. And I'm there for almost 8 or 9 hours. It's nonstop. The COVID-19, shout out to all the nurses and the doctors and the hospitals that are putting all the time in for all the stuff that's gone on in the past year and the work they've put into it. It's incredible. I don't think people know what is going on behind the scenes. I've been seeing it. It's scary. I don't think anybody takes this COVID-19 very seriously. I really don't. Take it seriously. I didn't take it seriously in the beginning. Thank God I never got it, but there are so many people that lost their loved ones. There's so many people that have lost their jobs. There's businesses that have fallen under. It's incredible how us as Americans, and you know this, Joe, us as Americans, we got to stick together. There's just so much of a crisis going on right now, and everybody fighting and civil arguments and with the presidency and political and this and Democratic and Republicans. Why can't we just all work together? We're all one. We're all together as one, as people, as the United States. And it's just sad what's going on in the world. And I just hope, Joe, and us talking sports and just being on the radio and trying to entertain people, hopefully we can change things by using our voices and our platforms to do that. So, Joe, thank you for joining us, bud. We're definitely going to get you on again. I definitely want to talk about Big Blue and maybe some way or another, the New York Giants sneak in and make the playoffs. And if that happens, you Giant fans are just going to be jumping over computers, jumping over horses, and just having fun. Because as soon as you mentioned the Giants, this kid right up there just was having a ball asking you questions. He can ask you questions all day long on what you think about the Giants. So I'm sure
I had about 5 left. I didn't even get to.
Well, you can reach out to him on his social media, and I'm sure he'll answer any questions you have, Speedy.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, thank you again for having me on. Looking forward to, reach out. I'll definitely come back on again. This was fun.
Absolutely. And we'll have some fun next time. We'll play some games with you. I'd like to see if you can, how much trivia you really do know. How old are you, by the way, Joe?
I'm 22.
Oh, you're a baby. You guys are baby. Oh my God. Every time I come on this show, I hear some of you guys, even some of these podcasters or any of these analysts that are ex-football players and stuff like that. They
Mm.
tell me they're in their 20s. I'm 38 years old, man, and I just feel older and older when I hear your name, your ages, and just where you're from. I mean, seriously, but and how far you've gone.
Don't worry, you'll always have the one coach, Jerry Oaks, that shares your exact birthday.
That's right. You know, it's funny. I'll tell you a quick story. We interviewed the Pittsburgh baseball coach, and it's so funny. We were talking, and the interview was great. And then after the interview, I said, he told me he was at the same baseball game for the no-hitter. You remember this, Speedy? The no-hitter. No, it was the World Series.
Yeah,
right?
David Wells.
No, David
Wells.
The perfect game. The David Wells perfect game. We were at the same game at the same time in practically the same area. Okay. And I said, well, what's your birthday? He says, April. I said, is it late April or early April? He says, late April. I says, tell me your birthday is not April 29th. And he says, my birthday is April 29th. and then he says, I said, how old are you? He says, I'm 38. He says, so wait a second. You were born in the same year, same day, and you were at the same game in the same area of me. It's incredible. It really is. It's deja vu. And you want to know something? We kind of look like each other too. I mean, it is crazy, man. It really is. But I really appreciate you joining us. Shout out to Jillian. You are a great man. Keep up the good work. I will be in touch with you, and we would love to get you back on.
Thanks. Sounds good. I'll look forward to coming back on.